This is our Chinese Grand Prix recap.
That thing is sick.
All right, boys. Chinese Grand Prix recap.
What's that on your head?
What do you mean?
Oh, are we starting already? Like, this is how we're going to start off?
Listen,
I love it.
Listen, here's what I'm going to say. This is the ode to the culture. This is the ode to the region, because this as Americans, one of the things that I think Americans get too caught up in is American pastimes, American sports. It's like American football, baseball, greatest, oldest sports pastime. And we Americanize everything.
Did you just say oldest?
Yes.
Oldest sport?
Oldest sport.
Oh my
Oldest sport.
And then you've got NASCAR and you've got IndyCar. One of the things that F1 brings us that most American sports don't is global perspective. And so what I wanted to do was treat these types of races from region to region with a higher degree of respect. So I'm wearing the Chinese hat in order to respect the cultural aspects and the regionality of the race.
Oh, and let me guess, the sleeveless Indy 500 shirt is just balance.
That's a little clashing.
Yeah.
There's my boy. That's my homeboy.
That's our homie.
That's my homeboy.
Oh, Jaco.
Which he was like mentioned once throughout the entirety of like the broadcast for being the Chinese reserve driver. I was like, damn, dude, you gave him nothing. That was it.
He gets no credit.
That's why I'm kind of seeing.
He gets no points.
He gets no points. I'm hoping Yuki Tsunoda gets a little bit more love than that when we get to the Japanese Grand Prix, but we'll see. All right, boys, let's recap the points, the questions and the points from the Chinese Grand Prix, and then I will give ourselves a total.
Yep.
And let's see where we're at. All right, so question number 1 was one reasonable prediction. I said one Merc will get on the podium. I was correct. I got 3 points. JW said 2 Mercs in the top 5, of course. That was the reality, 3 points. And Alex, you said Ferrari in the podium, so 3 points. So we all awarded 3 points for the reasonable prediction. One bold take, I said Lindblad finishes top 5. Boy, did I jinx him. 0 points for me. JW said Ferrari race winner, close but no cigar, 0 points. And Alex said Red Bulls outperform Mercs. You should get negative points for that. Just kidding. Now, here's the interesting one. One dream/unrealistic prediction. I said 2 young drivers will finish on the podium. We defined 2 young drivers as a rookie, Arvid Lindblad, or last year's rookie class, and that didn't happen. JW predicted a Lando Norris win. Couldn't be further
from the truth.
Negative points.
And
negative points.
Alex with a bustling, blistering 30 points.
Chopsticks.
Haas outscores McLaren.
Hit me with the chopsticks.
Was the case. So
30 balls.
Points, 30
Hit me with
points,
the chopsticks.
30 points rewarded to Alex for his one dream/unrealistic. And you know what? We agreed that it was dream prediction. It was unrealistic. We voted
Yeah,
for it.
no, we
said
totally
yes.
did. I actually laughed about it.
There was no world. There was no world when we were
Alex is a
discussing this.
clairvoyant.
See future.
There was no world that existed in that moment where I thought that was a realistic possibility. And boy, oh boy, did it change. Now, not only did it take place as reality, but looking at the Haas cars, which we will talk about, could be an ongoing reality, which is pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts to talk about.
Yeah.
The next question was, who would be pole sitter? JW and I both said Russell. We were wrong on that. Alex, you said Hamilton. 0 points rewarded for all of us, as the pole sitter was Kimmy Antonelli. Winner of the race, both of you said Max Verstappen. Boy, you couldn't have been more wrong. I was at least close. I picked Russell. Kimmy Antonelli won his first race in F1. Congratulations to the youngin'. We were all awarded 0 points for that. First DNF, I said Lawson. We did make sure that we were understanding the rules of what a do not start versus a do not finish. This is first DNF. I chose Lawson. I was wrong. Both of you chose Stroll, which you were correct.
Were you wrong?
And each rewarded. I was real wrong because Lawson just gobbled up those points, which is so crazy. You know what? Honestly, I'm going to keep trying to choose wrong for the teams I like because they're just going to do awesome.
Yeah.
Like if I
there
do
you
that,
go. You know,
I'm
the
gonna
crazy
will
thing
some things
is
into
we're
existence.
going to have, obviously, Suzuka aside, we're going to have a month of freaking break. We might see Mercedes in the midfield, dude.
Yeah, there's
We
going to be a lot
might.
of development
We
that happens
might.
in a month.
We might
for
see
sure.
Mercedes in the
we
fucking
won't know.
midfield.
Yep. That break, there's a couple teams that are like, thank God.
Yep.
Thank God we get this
McLaren,
break from
Williams,
development. Yeah.
McLaren, Williams, Aston.
Aston is probably gonna suck anyway. But
Aston might not even show up to Suzuka and just make it an even longer spring break.
I do want to talk about Aston, and we'll talk about it, but there's one thing in particular I want to discuss kind of interrelated to that.
Yeah.
First curse word, I said Max, JW said Alonso, Alex, you said Lawson. There was nothing in the broadcast. I went through all 58 laps again that showed any. I'm thinking they're doing it on purpose for some reason. I don't know why, but there was nothing in the broadcast at all. I watched the race twice, sitting at the airport while my flight was delayed, going through the race again, and there wasn't one cuss word that was broadcasted. So we're all awarded 0 points for that. Yeah. Will the winner lead every lap? We all said no, and we were awarded points for that. Would there be a red flag? I said yes. I was wrong. There was no red flags. Both of you said no. 1 point awarded for each of you. Would the race be won by under 3 seconds? I said yes. 0 points awarded to me. Both of you said no. Or sorry, JW said no. 1 point awarded to him. Alex, you said yes. 0 points awarded to you. Lap 1 contact.
I said yes.
You said no.
Oh, I said no.
Yeah, you said no. Lap 1.
Wait.
Sorry. I said yes. You said yes. JW said no. JW was correct. So he was awarded 1 point. Lap 1 contact. We all said yes. There was no lap 1 contact, which is hard to believe 2 races in. I cannot believe it. And then safety car deployment. There was no safety car deployment. 0 points awarded for each of us. Now, the totals up until this point, I am very far behind with 14 points. JW is actually fairly far behind with 20 points. And Alex is very, very far ahead with 45 points.
Can you repeat the points again? Sorry, I'm not following. Can you say them again? I really didn't. How many?
I am at a total of 14. JW is at a total of 20. You are at a total of 45.
That doesn't even make sense.
Commanding lead. Why?
How did I get so many points?
Oh, Jesus, 30. Here we go. No. Let it play out, Cory. Let it play out.
I had no idea. Well, I mean, cool.
The best part about this is I'm just going to edit that all out. Your snarky little shit. I'm just going to edit it out. Yes, you do have a commanding lead, but as I've said, the season is a long one, and there's plenty of time to catch up. It is shorter, technically shorter. God, that makes me so angry. Yeah. Really
Irksome.
It's just interesting that.
So, are we going to put an asterisk on the 2020 season, the NBA championship, which LeBron won with the Lakers? Are we going to do that?
We probably should. That's
the
honestly,
bubble chip.
When I lose this whole point structure, I'm going to use that as the excuse. Well, I didn't have Bahrain and I didn't have Saudi. So what do you want me to do? No one knows what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was all up in the air. All right, boys, let's get into some key insights from the race. And we're going to start with the teams that are currently, we'll go from standings from 11 to 1 and just give our feedback on
and by the way, before you finish that, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Let's not forget. I want to say, what was the last year where they had 21 races? I mean, if they only stick to canceling 3, I think it's okay.
Yeah,
it sucks. It sucks.
But
I agree. 24
pre-COVID was 21 for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
They didn't do 24 until last year.
Last year, right? It was like
previous
3 years
22.
ago. Yeah, it went up to 22 in 21, I think. Obviously, COVID didn't count because they canceled 5, 3, 4.
Yeah,
I think they canceled like 5 races.
But they did 2 in Spa. They did Austria twice. They did Austria twice. They did that second one. That was weird.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and then
in the middle of the mountains.
They did a second one twice. So they gained 2 races out of like the 5 they canceled. But I think it was in 21 or 22 that they added multiple races. So technically, it kind of feels like
a normal season.
Which
is kind of funny because there's a lot of people that have been asking for a reduction in races, and we're getting it.
We're getting it, and people aren't happy about it either.
Not that this is a point of topic, but it's kind of crazy that a Formula One season starts in March, right? or
Yeah.
February, March,
And ends in December.
ends in December. It's like you're racing and you have 2 breaks, but you essentially have a 1 long break. But like, what sport does that? Like, not even
None.
baseball. That
None.
feels like an eternity.
And by the
None,
way,
dog.
they're not traveling from state to state. They're traveling
Oh.
all over the world.
Yeah.
Which
No,
is
yeah.
bonkers.
Yeah.
Racking up those freaking flyer miles.
Yeah,
Yep.
no kidding. Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Nah,
Toto
they're flying
Airlines.
private.
Toto Airlines.
Toto Airlines, yeah. It's intense for sure.
Sorry, you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's get into the results of the Chinese Grand Prix. Let's start with Cadillac. So Cadillac looked like Cadillac, but one of the interesting things about Cadillac, and this is what I was hinting at earlier. There is a hilarious onboard from Fernando Alonso waving. I think it was as Valtteri Bottas was
Yes.
going by him as Alonso's hands were shaking uncontrollably. I don't know if you saw some of the onboards. He was
I did.
releasing his hands from the steering wheel very often before he retired the car.
Yeah, it was very difficult. At some point, I couldn't feel my hands nor my legs, so tough one. We go back to work.
You sound just like him. That is really
That is uncanny.
It's very crazy. Yeah, so Cadillac to be expected. Essentially 3 seconds down off the leader's pace, which is kind of par for the course.
Per lap, JW.
Per
Per
lap.
lap.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, geez.
They
Per
were
lap,
right,
buddy.
JW, per lap.
Per lap. Mercedes was even 3 seconds off their
Yeah.
own pace.
Yes. So par for the course for Cadillac, but they
Yeah.
do arguably look better than Aston at this point, which I
Yeah,
think
they do.
nobody suspected. And then that takes us to Aston, obviously double DNF, Stroll going out first, which was something that I think was expected, although I thought they had some of the vibration issues under control, but it appears that in the Chinese Grand Prix it was worse.
No, that
Seemed like
onboard was
all of it was
terrifying, dude.
It was crazy. I mean, like literally
was a
taking
step
your
back.
hands off the steering wheel. I'm like, oh my gosh. I think there was something that Lance Stroll said in an interview where he goes, if we can't get this under control, pray for us. And I was like, dude, it's the first time I've ever felt bad for Lance Stroll.
Dude, they're
I'm
going to
like,
have to
I
start
really
wearing
feel
mouth
bad.
guards.
Yeah, so their teeth don't start chipping as they're
Yeah.
driving. Is wild. So what
That's
do you guys think
hilarious.
about Aston Martin overall? Like, do you think that, they're going to go to the Japanese Grand Prix? Well, let's see what happens. I don't know how much can actually be developed or changed in that car in that point of time. But do you think the month off in April will give them a substantial amount of time to really make a difference when we get back into racing?
Well, I think any amount of time that you give that team is going to help them, whether it's a day or
Yeah.
a week.
That's a given for sure. Agreed.
But if I was a betting man, I would guess that we won't see a farly improved Aston Martin probably until the beginning of the European round. That's all I really have to say on that. I don't want to beat a dog when it's down.
So I have a hot take.
Go for it.
I think that because of certain global events that have forced the cancellation of these 3 races, which was unexpected for the FIA's board and the regulations directive to take action ahead of time. I believe they will be implementing certain exemptions to teams with either parts, with just a general leniency. There will be a month off, and they will be coming to America. Not that it matters that they're coming to a specific place, but I believe that they will have a lot of data on their hands in terms of viewerships, in terms of feedback. I think they will take this time because drivers aren't going to go on a vacation. They're going to take the time to spend. They're going to take time and spend it with the teams, request feedback, submit probably things for voting and exemption, stuff like that. And I believe that there will be a consensus that will allow not those teams that are necessarily not being competitive, but just, to have, 4 or 5 race drivers before the race not being even able to start a race is ridiculous.
Yep.
Now, to give them a loophole that will make them so competitive that they will drastically change from being an Aston Martin that doesn't start a race to being fighting for a podium, that's completely different. And I think that they can tangibly control that. But I believe that there will be exemptions and there will be leniency for cars to just be able to run. I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
know what that looks on a technical level. I have some ideas. I don't want to speculate, but I do believe there will be changes coming from the FIA, and there will be a general consensus where it probably will only affect Mercedes.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was thinking about, especially as you watch this race, and if you rewind back to the Australian Grand Prix, is just the disparity in time, right,
Yeah.
between each one of the teams.
Yeah.
It benefits F1 and it benefits the FIA, it benefits the sport in general, benefits the drivers to close that gap. And if part of closing that gap is getting the cars to start the race, that's
Guys,
part of closing that gap.
Guys, I haven't seen a top 10 driver being lapped since the last regulations were implemented.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
7th place was lapped.
Yeah, it's bonkers, isn't it?
It is
Crazy.
wild.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. All right, let's move on to Williams because there's at least a little bit of a nice little spotlight on Williams, other than the fact that another DNS due to a hydraulic failure for Alex Albon. But
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz got in the points, baby. Finished P9. Great recovery drive by
Give it a
Carlos
clap, my
Sainz.
guy. Come on.
And this is one thing that I'll say, minus the hydraulic issues and the failures that Albon had, which is like just par for the course for Williams and was last year as well. The one thing that I can say is that car does have a bit of pace in it. And being a Mercedes-powered car, once, like McLaren, once they figure out how to reduce the weight, get in control of that engine, Williams could definitely be one of those teams as we move forward mid part of the year that's really up there fighting. Like, I really believe they've got two good drivers that can do it. If they can get some balance in that car, I think they can really do some awesome things in the near future.
Alex, do you want to go?
Yeah, I want to agree with all my heart. I truly want to agree. I don't know if I agree. And that's just purely looking at the stats, right? You look at 5 cars behind Carlos Sainz that were fortunate to be able to finish, right? You look at the Cadillacs. There's obviously not even a concern there. There's not even a point of topic. You look at Ocon's car that obviously suffered from driver error, right? We take Lindblad that essentially had issues in his vehicle. And then we look at a struggling Audi that was just barely keeping up with the backfield's pace. And then we have Colapinto that essentially does have a much more competitive car than Williams, as seen by Pierre Gasly's driving, right? Pierre Gasly could have easily competed for a top 5, right? He was
100%.
He was 6 seconds away from Ollie, and he was honestly very, very close to doing it. So that being said, you got to compare Carlos's pace with those behind him and those in front of him. He was still lapped by the leaders. Do I agree in some degree that they had a relatively decent pace? Yeah, but it's also Carlos Sainz, man. Carlos Sainz had incredibly defensive races where he was, started. He's a great starter. He's a phenomenal starter. You look back at his seasons. You look back when he moved to McLaren, and they still had relatively a shitty car, right? When him and Lando were kind of fighting for, P7s, P8, P9s. Yep. You look back at Renault. That first year with Renault, the car was actually not that competitive yet, and he got to where he went, Ferrari, and now Williams, probably with a $20 million a year salary, right? He got to where he was by his driving skills. And I wholeheartedly believe that Carlos Sainz was P9 because of his driving skills at a 90% level and a 10% level because his car was able to sustain the pace. Yeah. I think they have a lot more to think about than just weight concerns. So I agree to a certain degree, but the car's not there, dude. The car's slow. Car's slow.
I'll be quick.
You always are.
I agree. I agree with what Alex said, but more importantly, I'm very disappointed.
Same.
Disappointed in Williams, mainly because since 2024, all I've been hearing from James Vowles is break everything. I don't care about 24. Yep. I don't care about 25. I care about 26.
Agreed. Yep.
We're in 26, and even before the damn Barcelona shakedown, that car was 30 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
This is the guy that shadowed Mercedes through 2 regulation changes, so he knows what's up. I'm with you.
I don't get it.
Disappointed.
Genuinely.
Yeah,
that's why he's there.
Heavy bitch. That car is a heavy bitch for sure.
So listen, I'm not going to sing Williams' praises, and I'm not going to back them up until they give me a reason to. That's
fair. I'm with you.
Plain simple.
I'm with you.
That's it.
That's fair. Moving on to Audi, another disappointing DNS from Bortoleto because Bortoletto's shown some flashes of really good so far in the early part of the season and qualifying, and then of course in his first race in Australia. However, did not start this particular race, which is unfortunate. And you had Hulkenberg, which was just right outside the points, just couldn't hang on to a P10 finish. And he had one of the things that I saw as I was going through the race again yesterday was his horrifically slow pit stop, which certainly did not help him.
Yes.
So where do we put Audi at this point? Too early to tell?
I mean, listen, I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to give Audi some credit because Audi and most teams on the grid have managed something that McLaren has yet to do, which is have both of their drivers start a race. Mind you, they are a brand new team.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and
I put him on par, just on par with expectations.
Yep, exactly.
One faulty car, one car just maybe fighting for points. I will be very happy and giving them a lot of credit if they score 1 point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I
I
give
agree.
Audi credit where they are, man. I like it a lot, and I think the future is very bright for them. So.
Yeah, agreed. I'm actually really excited to see if both drivers can start the race in Japan, seeing what they can do collectively as a team as they work their way through the field. Because I think having both of them out there at the same time, fighting for each other, because they are such brilliant and good teammates and support one another, I'm curious to see how that plays out in Japan. I think that'll be really fun to watch. Moving on to Alpine. Here's something to talk about, boys. Gasly finishing P6, Colapinto finishing P10. Double points for the boys at Alpine. That Alpine looking pretty sick. Gasly, his tire management throughout that race was unfreaking believable.
Tire whisperer.
Yep.
So crazy. And Franco Colapinto was
Yo, did you see his start?
Ferocious. It was crazy.
It
His
was
onboards
wild.
are awesome. If you go back and just watch that onboards at the start, you're like, oh, boy's flying. And honestly, had Ocon not darted into the side of him while he was trying to take the apex, this is why I hate Ocon.
Yep.
I've said it.
Yep.
I'm going to talk about it. Not right now, but when we get to Haas, I'm going to talk about it.
Guys,
But
that's one of the
Colapinto-
oldest rivalries in the last 10 years.
Did you know Ocon was getting death threats?
Oh, God.
Yo,
Already came out and said it.
Argentinians are so
Argentinians
toxic,
just
dude.
want to murder everybody.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
so
It's wild.
toxic.
But I'm
Well,
really, really pleased to see where Alpine is so far. I mean, this
Same.
is crazy. What
Can't praise him enough. Can't praise him
I
enough.
hope they just gotta because Alpine's done this. They've done this before, where they have good development early on, and the development falls off in the latter half of the season. They gotta keep it going. You've got to give these boys a car to run and continue to. You can't have people just continue out developing you as you move your way through the season. You've got to keep that pace because they look good right now. I mean, they look really good.
So here's the quick thing about Alpine. Alpine is probably one of the teams that had the most wind tunnel time last season because they were so bad. So I have a feeling that whatever upgrades they bring to that car throughout the season are going to be well thought out and effective.
Yep.
So watch out for that team, dude.
It seems they understand that Mercedes engine. That's all I'm going to say.
They definitely understand it more than
I'm getting
McLaren
flashbacks to Racing Point's pick Mercedes. I'm literally getting flashbacks.
Yeah, it's a good call.
You mean the Stroll Checo days?
Oh yeah, the $200,000, 200,000 euro fine per car and 7.5 point stocking. Yeah, that one, the pink Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think their trajectory could look really, really well if they just keep their foot on the gas, no pun intended. Here's an interesting one. How about the Racing Bulls? P7, P12. Arvid Lindblad made some rookie errors. Let's call them what they are.
That's it. Yeah.
Made some rookie errors. To be expected.
And they were
going to
happen.
But what about
That kid's hungry. That kid's hungry.
Liam Lawson looking pretty good.
He's a guy I said was under pressure.
Yeah.
If you remember.
Yeah, and I agreed with you, and he shut us both up.
He shut us
he
up,
answered
dude.
the pressure. God, he looked good.
Where's the pressure?
You know what he looks like now? He looks like a more mature driver. I've noticed it in the way he's driven the last two races.
Yeah,
I agree.
He looks more mature. He's not making those aggressive moves he used to make.
Yeah, he was a little loony before.
Yeah. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So
yeah, I'm really liking what we're seeing out of the Racing Bulls. I like that driver pairing. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, literally they're on the same level as Alpine and Haas right now. They're just like right in the mix, and I think that's really awesome. I think they've got a lot of momentum, that's for sure. And I think they have Lindblad, as far as you said, Alex, hungry driver, and you have Lawson that's becoming a bit more mature. I really like that pairing right now. I think that's going to be really cool to see what they can do in Japan. Now for something that isn't as pleasant, how about Red Bull?
Oh.
How about Red Bull?
God, man, I don't even know where to begin with that team.
Can we talk about Nürburgring? Can we just talk about that rather than just talk about
honestly, I'd much rather talk about Max driving the 24 hours at Nürburgring than talk about them in Formula 1.
That's this Saturday, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's gonna be well. Here's what I will say. I saw a thing where it showed that the car was overweight for some reason. Came out like 716 kg, which was like 20 kg over what it was, I think, in Australia, which I don't know how that's even possible.
How's that possible?
I don't know what they did. I don't know what parts they put on the car to make that happen. But obviously he had to retire the car because I believe was a coolant issue. Good news is Isaac Hadjar salvaged some points for the team.
And he could have done better if he hadn't done that move on, was it Ollie?
On Ollie. Ollie at the beginning of the race.
Yeah.
Strong result, at least in P8, and securing some points for the team, but boy, it's not looking good.
It's not looking good, bro.
And Isaac's not getting that lagging power in the starts like
it's
Max
weird.
is.
I don't know what that is.
It's just so strange.
It's very odd to me, and I think it's in the best interest of the sport that in this month that we have that we have for break, the FIA, Formula 1, and the team sit down and figure these cars out.
Exactly.
Because if they don't, I see it as a very real possibility that we lose Max Verstappen to the World Endurance Championship.
Yep. Because if I were him, he does good this weekend, he's gonna bolt.
Oh, dude, he's gonna bolt.
He's gonna pull a Kimmy. He's gonna leave the sport. The sport's gonna suffer, and they're gonna reel him back in.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to pay him 3 times the amount he's making now.
I could see that being a very real possibility because, and we've talked about this before a little bit, as far as like, there's some drivers, and I would never say there's a driver bigger than the sport, but there is the Max Verstappen currently that has he has so much weight in the sport. I could imagine Max Verstappen leaves, there's going to be audience attrition.
Oh,
for
sure.
Just not going to want to watch it.
Book it.
They're just going to go, bye. He brings that element to the sport. And the one thing that I really haven't appreciated as of late is Max Verstappen's just like repetitive, I hate this car. That doesn't solve a problem. I get the frustration. I think I totally agree with you both. They need to take the month to get this figured out and hopefully get that car into good enough shape to where Max Verstappen feels, at least minus the overtake and boost mode, feels comfortable driving the car. Yeah. At least feels comfortable getting the results that he thinks he should deserve out of that car. Yeah. Because that simply was not what happened in the Chinese Grand Prix. It just was not. He had to have the most miserable time in that car.
Dude, he looked like you could see it. And I've mentioned this a few times since the preseason started. You could see it in his driving, how like defected he is.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
that did not look like a Max Verstappen drive. That looked like a midfield driver just driving that car. And I know it's not on the driver. Like
it's just out for a Sunday stroll. That's how he's driving that car. Just like, I'm just out here on a stroll. I'm not even trying to compete.
And it sucks to see as a fan, because I might be a Lando fan and I might be a McLaren fan, but I'm a fan of the sport first.
It feels like Brad Pitt taking a test drive on the McLaren.
Yep. At Coda. There you go.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, how about our boys at Haas? Let's start with hold on. Let's start with Ollie Behrman and a solid P5 finish. That boy good. That boy was fighting. He was good. He was defensive. He was smart. He was calculated. He did every single thing right in that race that he possibly could have done, with an outstanding P5 finish. And he has literally taken the momentum that he had in 2025 and has just carried it over in 2026. And he goes, I'm the boy.
Let's just say
freaking guy.
The Haas look Ferrariocious right now.
It did. I totally agree. Totally agree. And as a matter of fact,
Ferrariocious.
If they can if there's a little bit more that they can put into that car, a little bit more that they can extract out of it, they're gonna be up there. They may
get a podium
in the first few laps.
Yeah.
They may be fighting up there.
Hey, there are barring Audi and Cadillac, they are the only team on the grid that does not have a podium yet. So I could
Interesting.
totally see that happening this season, now that I've seen them drive 2 races.
I think it would be outstanding to see, in particular, Ollie Behrman get a podium.
Agreed.
Now let's talk about the other driver that I have issues with, as I've stated numerous amounts of times on this, that I said is under pressure.
Why do you hate Bugs Bunny?
No, hold on. Listen to me. We talked about it a little bit earlier as far as Liam Lawson we knew he was under pressure, and he answered to that pressure. Ocon did the exact opposite. He made a rookie freaking move. I watched it back 30 times. He had no business trying to get ahead at the apex. Knew it was going to happen. There was going to be contact. There was no way there was going to be contact, and he ruined his own race. He almost ruined Colapinto's race, which would have really pissed me off, but he ruined his own race and slid back down to P15. He had a chance at the points. He had points locked up. Talk about, if you're the team principal, talk about how disappointing you're on the fact that you could have had 2 of your drivers in the points, which is very critical at the beginning of the season. And one of them makes a stupid mistake like that, knocks himself out of the points. Damn near knocked himself out of the race.
As Gunther would say, he just has to do better.
He's got to do better because that pressure is definitely mounting now.
Yeah.
It's definitely building. And that was just terrible.
Mind you, we're headed to Suzuka, where I believe rookie FP1 sessions are allowed. They have a Japanese driver sitting on the bench right now, Ryo Hirakawa.
Yep.
And he's he's a Toyota driver, and he's fast, boy.
That's the name I actually recognize.
Yeah,
that
boy fast.
I don't think, honestly, I think it won't take them. I don't think the team will hesitate, given the fact that they know how they have pace in that car. Now, for point of clarity here, Ollie Behrman's pace throughout the race was a second or a little less than Ferrari's. That is insane.
That's terrifying.
That's insane how good of an effort he put in. So we know it's in the car. We know it's in the driver. They have the ability to do it. You've got to get that second driver. You've got to get him up there. He's a veteran driver. There's just no reason for that, in my opinion. There's absolutely no reason for that.
Agreed.
Could have been a double points finish. Could have been huge for Haas. And now Haas is just right in line with Red Bull and
Ollie's P5 in the championship, though. That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is
wild. I like that boy so much. I loved him ever since he was in P2 or in F2. It was so awesome to watch him in F2.
Did you know he drives a Subaru?
That does not surprise me one bit.
Oh, no, he's a lesbian? Oh, that sucks.
All right.
I'm just kidding. Hey, listen, as a Mitsubishi Evo guy, can't like Subarus. It's in my nature. All right.
I didn't say that because of what he looks like. Just saying.
No, I know. You're saying he drives a Subaru, which I appreciate. I think Alex Albon used to drive a Honda Civic Type R. I think that was like his car
Pierre
when he got
as well.
F1, which I thought was cool. I think that was so cool. I'm like,
no,
awesome.
that was a Honda car given to them by Red Bull.
I figured it was given to him. Yeah, but I think
Pierre got the same car when he got to Red Bull, and then
I would just keep that car. I think I would just hold on to that. Those cars are dope.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to the not favorable McLaren. Only 1 point ahead of Haas at this point, and that was really all accumulated and Lando Norris's effort and none of Oscar Piastri's effort.
So since nothing happened, let's just talk about Ferrari.
Yeah, I guess we can skip McLaren. McLaren is riddled with issues. Each one of them had different electrical and power unit issues on the car. They weren't even the same. So they're diagnosing 2 issues at the same time.
They're submitting an investigation. I wonder how that would...
Well, it's a Mercedes. They're saying it's the Mercedes power unit.
They have to. Because they could have that same issue across all customer teams throughout the season. I'm just going to close the McLaren bit out with this. Bernd Maylander has driven more Grand Prix laps this season than Oscar Piastri.
So wild.
Oscar Piastri and I have driven the same amount of Grand Prix laps this season.
That's pretty great. Will you make that a reel, please, so I can post it on Podium Sessions?
I already did.
Love that.
I will send it to you.
Love that.
I love that so much. And it's true. Yeah, it's, as a McLaren fan, I don't want to dwell on it. I don't want to be sad about it. I want them, like every other team, to take the month of April and just figure your stuff out. And that brings us to Ferrari, who is looking ferocious. Ferrari, I think, has a great development pathway as well. One of the things that I thought was very interesting throughout the race was when Russell came over the radio and he said, Ferrari's fast in all the right places.
Yes.
And that, to me, that's that cornering speed. If they can figure out how to get the power down in the straights as Mercedes does, they're legit going to be fighting with Mercedes.
Yep.
It will be an actual fight. It will be a battle.
And
it
will happen.
I got 2 comments. I really, as a loyal Tifosi, no matter what, just like I'm not gonna go there, but as a loyal Tifosi fan, no matter what, I want to see them cheat a little bit and see them like being real competitive. But at the same time,
Ferrari, that's notorious for Ferrari does that anyway. So we know it's
Italians,
coming.
am I right?
but and then have them settle with no repercussions as
Correct.
2020 season, but 2019 season. But it does trigger me every time Lewis gets asked about his performance in the car, and he says he finds a way to sneak it in there every single time. Pre-race, post-race, driver's reaction. He makes it a point to say that he has been involved in the development of this car. Piss me off, man. Shut up. Shut up and drive.
It is getting kind of old. I don't need to hear it every
God.
single race. I feel the same way. It's like we know,
God.
we get it. It's like we know you're trying to forget that 2025 ever existed. It's
Yes.
2026 now. Just move
Yeah,
forward.
let
It's
it go,
fine.
dude. Let it go.
So
I
it's
will
totally
say,
fine.
I will say, what was really refreshing to see was a team letting both of their drivers race.
Beautiful.
By the way, not only letting both the drivers race, but both of the drivers commenting on how fun it was to race each other.
McLaren,
awesome.
that's how you do it. by the
Again,
way.
I'm not being a hater, but I feel like Lewis was coached because his reactions were like, what the hell is going on? And then Charles said that, how it was fun, right?
Yeah.
Charles said it was fun. And then post-race, it kind of looked like Lewis was coached to say he was okay with that kind of racing.
Well,
he was
it's
like, yeah,
Ferrari.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, outside of Mercedes, the most
I think
heavily
Charles was very
PR'd team is-
genuine about
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed
Like,
like it
100%.
was like an excitement. It was almost
Yes.
like a giddiness to like,
Yes.
look how fun this was. Like
Yes.
this is what we feel that the racing should be. It should be this kind of back and forth. It should be this close wheel to wheel. Because there was a few times I can't remember who said it. I don't remember if it was Leclerc or if it was Hamilton said that they believe at one point they had actually touched, but it was paper
Hamilton.
thin.
I
Hamilton.
think it
was
was
like
in the
we-
sprint.
No.
No, it was
Was it
race.
in the
Race,
in
and
the
it was
feature race?
closer. It was when they were swapping.
It was
positions.
post-race interview. Hamilton said they touched.
Gotcha. Listen, watching Ferrari race in Shanghai gave me a little bit of hope for these
Yeah.
cars. And and listen, I know I bet against them at the beginning of the season. I'm going to stick to it. But I hope
Cool
this
your
continues.
jets, Tifosis. Cool
Yeah.
your jets.
Hey, it's still early in the season.
It's still early.
Ferrari's been known to throw things away. So,
Yeah.
but it is. I agree with you. It's refreshing to see them. One, that launch with that car is insane.
Bro.
And honestly, there's going to be these last two races are really wide open tracks, like with huge runoff areas. We start to get to some of those street circuits, Ferrari can lock it down. They get off to a fast start, it's locked down. It's going to be really, really hard for Mercedes to pass them.
Or
I can't wait for Monaco. I can't wait.
or
for
Monaco,
Yep.
a track like Hungary,
Baku.
Baku for sure.
Yep.
Yep. Ferrari could literally lock down 1 and 2.
if Imola was on the fucking calendar, man.
They should have subbed it in. It still
I agree.
irks me that they didn't.
I
But
agree.
yeah, I think
And then that-
Ferrari looks really, really rapid. Really,
That
really good
leaves
right now.
us with the cheating team that
The
we
Merc.
don't believe we have to talk
the
about.
regime.
The regime.
The team that
Reicht.
none of the three of us have any sort of intimate attached to
The Silver
whatsoever.
Arrows reicht.
Literally the most neutral team to all three of us probably. But
Yeah.
you can't argue the fact that they look good. And you got to give it up to Kimmy Antonelli.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
young boy.
Job, Kimmy.
Qualifying record, race
Get on
winner
these,
for
Kimmy.
the first time at 18 years old. I mean, that was really something special to see. He did really, really well in that race. He commanded everything up until like the final 10 laps where he almost went off because I think he probably fell asleep because he got so bored. Lucky that wasn't a race-ending issue that he had right there. He just kind of late braked into that turn one. It was like, whoopsies, time to get back on track.
I do have to call him out, though, for weaving before crossing the finish line. Buddy, you haven't won the race yet. You haven't won any race. Don't
you know what?
weave when you've locked up already.
So that happened the first race with Russell, and I go, as slippery as these cars are, I don't know that I'm weaving before I get to the
no, but
finish
it's
line.
different because George is an experienced driver.
True, very true.
Kimmy's in his second season. Like I'm
I'm
all
glad
for
he
him
made it
being
through, though.
Yeah, I'm very happy he did. That would have been heartbreaking. But yeah.
So what do we think in terms of, and we'll end this, we'll end the conversation with Mercedes overall. has been the continual gripe that Mercedes and the compression issues and Alex, I can't help but to reflect back on what you said earlier as far as some sort of FIA intervention. And I think I specifically remember you saying the only team it'll affect is Mercedes, likely, depending on what happens either in further development other cars or a little bit of a
underdevelopment.
An underdevelopment for Mercedes.
I would say more of a, I don't think it's an issue that will tackle the dominance. That's already been discussed and that's already in the works.
It's already in the works. June 1st, right? I think correct is when they're changing.
It's not about Mercedes' advantage. It's about everybody else's disadvantages, right?
Right, and elevating the other teams.
If Ferrari or Alpine or Haas can capitalize on it and be a little bit closer to the front and maybe have a little bit of luck in qualifying and say street circuits and stuff like that, that will allow them to maybe protect a lead over Mercedes, right? Because they got the starts. Ferrari's got the starts. Haas has got the starts. Alpine's got the starts. Mercedes doesn't really have the start, right? So
no, they don't.
If they are able to enhance that and become a little bit more competitive in the front, that's going to be a byproduct of the whole point of what I believe these discussions will be about. How do we get cars to not have issues before they even begin the race? How do we have some sort of leniency on vehicles that are, or on vessels that aren't being competitors, where the whole point is racing, dude. Let them race.
Yeah, we just want them to race. That's a great point. And let's end there. We do have, which we will release before the Japanese Grand Prix. So we'll have our predictions for Japanese Grand Prix. We have a whole another subset of questions that will be asked, which I think will be very fun. And we'll have that out probably next week sometime. One thing that I would like to say, because it seemed to generate a lot of attention, which I think is great, especially for, interacting and engaging with the collective F1 community. We put out some of these predictions. We put out our bold predictions, and they are bold predictions. And we put out a reel and a post, ended up in a short, which got a ton of attention of JW saying that Max Verstappen was gonna win the race, and a lot of people go, well, that aged well. What I would say, and caution to anybody who's listening or engaging, understanding that there's more context to those predictions than what you see just in the posted reel. So listen to the whole episode so you can find out what we're all about, and not just dog everybody who has an opinion, because there's interrelated context to all of it.
Or just go back to this episode, just look at the points and the tally, and just know who you're going to point your direction to.
Oh, brother,
who's making sense of things and who's being delusional. Okay, guys? Thank you for watching. Have a good night.
Yeah,
have a good day.
All right, here's what I'll say. We'll end it with this. Please subscribe on our YouTube channel. Right there, and all social media platforms, right? So we've got a Podium Sessions page on Instagram, on TikTok, that you can go and access as well, and then each one of our individual pages. So please subscribe, and until then, next week we'll be back at you with race predictions for the Japanese Grand Prix. See you, everyone.